It's Off the Beaten Path Podcast with me, Ben Merritt.
Drink a beer.
And you won't be hearing any of that here.
You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when the skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. The other night, dear, as I was sleeping, I dreamt I held you in my arms. But when I awoke, dear, I was mistaken. So I hung my head and cried.
I'll always love you and make you happy. If you were lonely, say the same. But if you leave me and love another, you'll regret it all someday.
You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away.
All my dreams, dear, you seem to leave me. When I awake, my poor heart aches. So when you come back and make me happy, I'll forgive and take all the blame.
Oh, you are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when the skies are gray. And you never know, dear, how much I love you. Oh, please don't take my sunshine away. Please don't take my sunshine away.
Off the Beaten Path Podcast with me, Ben Merritt. And there you go. That was the Civil Wars rendition of You Are My Sunshine. It was originally recorded in 2010, put on the 2011 7-inch vinyl version of Barton Hollow. Never released digitally here in the United States. You could only get it on the vinyl. And I don't want to say consolation prize, but it kind of is, because just recently, Joy Williams and John Paul White of the Civil Wars have decided that they are permanently disbanding the duo as the Civil Wars. They are no longer working together for the Civil Wars project. You never know. They may work together down the road, or there may be a reunion someday. But as of right now, they are no longer working together. And Joy Williams comments, I am saddened and disappointed by the ending of the duo. To say the very least, JP is a tremendous musician, and I will always be grateful for the music we were able to create together. I'm so thankful, and my heart is full. Looking ahead, I'm excited to share the music that I'm writing and recording in the midst of this difficult transition. I've loved being back in the studio, and I've missed performing live. I look forward to seeing you soon. And John Paul adds, I would like to express sincere thanks to all who were a part of the arc of the Civil Wars, from the beginning to the end and all the points in between. My deep appreciation goes out to all who supported, disseminated, and enjoyed the music. Whatever shape or form the next chapter takes, thanks for being a large part of this one. We will always have the Civil Wars. Anyway, Ben Merritt, I think I started this one off on an awkward step, but hey, I had to put it out there. So, Ben Merritt hanging out with you here on Off the Beaten Path podcast. Thanks for being here, and thanks for getting through that rough one with me. I promise it's going to be a lot better. Riley Etheridge Jr. going to be our guest later on in the episode, so stick around for that. A lot of music that's kind of fun and folky this episode, so let's just dive right into it, shall we? This is Drew Holcomb and the Neighbors. This is off the Collection album, and the name of this one is Live Forever. Now, this is one of their more popular tunes. Again, I find all my stuff on Spotify, and also I watch a lot of, I watch a lot of alternative music website channels and stuff like that. So, Drew Holcomb and the Neighbors have been spotlighted on lots of TV shows. They've been everywhere. As a matter of fact, they've been on Oprah. They've been on The Deadliest Catch, How I Met Your Mother, House, Nashville. So obviously they've got some country cred there. So, but again, here they are, Drew Holcomb and the Neighbors. This is Live Forever. It's Off the Beaten Path podcast with me, Ben Merritt.
Laughter is the only thing that'll keep you sane. And this world is crying more and more every day. Don't let evil get you down in this madness spinning round and round. I want you to live forever underneath the sky so blue. Some people say faith is a childish game. Play on children like it's Christmas Day. Sing me a song, sing me a melody, sing out loud, you're a symphony. I want you to live forever underneath the sky so blue. I want you to live forever underneath the sky so blue. Take courage when the road is long. Don't ever forget you are never alone. I want you to live forever underneath the sky so blue. I want you to live forever underneath the sky so blue. Oh yeah, I want you to live forever underneath the sky
It's Off the Beaten Path podcast with me, Ben Merritt.
When love becomes the one thing you can't trust, the stars start falling down in silver trails of dust. The atmosphere above is a glimmer of what it was. The moon reflects the sun like a memory of us. When the sky fell down, it shattered on the ground. When the sky fell down, the pain is like a drug, the kind you can't give up. I'm a statue cold and numb. Don't waste your time. When the sky fell down, shattered on the ground. When the sky fell down. When the sky fell down.
Off the Beaten Path podcast with me, Ben Merritt, and I'm a big fan of those lovely girls. That is Shell. And again, they're four sisters doing their thing in the music business. That is Shell, When the Sky Fell. And no, I don't think they intended for it to rhyme, but you never know. It may have been on purpose. Ben Merritt again here on Off the Beaten Path podcast. In case you don't remember from Shell being on previous episodes, Sarah, Hannah, Eva, and Liza. I'm probably saying Eva wrong. I know I'm probably saying Liza wrong. But again, they were all born within 5 years of each other and raised by their professional songwriter father and an artist mother, which means that, well, music kind of is what they do. They all know their own separate instruments. Sarah knows violin, Liza is on harp, Eva is on mandolin, and Hannah, actually, I believe, is the percussionist. So, but again, great stuff because not only that, but the artist mother, their artist half of the parenting unit, got them into other things as well. They do fantastic photography. Make sure that you go to their Instagram page, by the way. Oh my gosh. Instagram for the Shell band. I Love Shell Music, and it's SHEL Music. I Love Shell Music is how you get to their Instagram page. And like I said, some fantastic photography. And all the hats that you see in there, yeah, they're made by the ladies of the band as well. And I mean, just some spectacular side projects that they do just for fun. I mean, you got to pass the time in the bus somehow, right? Off the Beaten Path podcast with me, Ben Merritt. Again, thanks for hanging out. Get in touch. OTBP podcast on Instagram, OTBP podcast on Twitter, Facebook.com/OTBP podcast, the website OTBPpodcast.com. You can also email me, OTBPpodcast@gmail.com. You didn't see that coming? Come on now. But just stay in touch. If there's an artist out there that you really want me to take a look at, and maybe even get them on the website or get them on the page or get them on the show. Be sure to spread the love and tell me about it. So right now we're going to step into one of the new up-and-coming bluegrass bands, and by new and up-and-coming, I mean this is like their 5th or 6th studio album, and they've been around for quite a while. But this latest album, Let It Go, and no, I'm not talking about Frozen. This new album that they put out, it's not separating them from bluegrass. They're still bluegrass at heart. Their roots are in bluegrass, but it's something that could go mainstream a little bit more. It could be a lot more popular country music if they let it. So, but here they are. This is the infamous String Dusters, and I'll Get Away. It's Off the Beaten Path podcast with me, Ben Merritt.
I no need for the pity, a word of hope you could not send. I can't hear, I need no vision. I'll find a path with the wind. I'll get away again. I'll get away again. In the moment I was with you, made the bed and there I laid. Took a long time to be decided, but decisions were never made. I'll get away again. I'll get away again. Hey, I'll get away. It's not about how far or if I'll even say. Yeah, but when I get there, you left me up here flying, gave me nowhere to land, led me around in circles, too dizzy to stand. I'll get away again. I'll get away again. Hey, I'll get away. It's not about how far or if I'll even stay. Yeah, but when I get there,
It's Off the Beaten Path podcast with me, Ben Merritt. Like us on Facebook.com/OTBP podcast. Off the Beaten Path podcast with me, Ben Merritt. This is, again, one of my favorite parts of the show, the opportunity for me to sit down and actually get to chat with some of these up-and-coming country artists or some of the artists that maybe you just have never heard of before. And this is one of the guys that falls into that latter category because, well, Riley Etheridge Jr. has been around for a while. As a matter of fact, he's got what? You've got 3 full albums and an EP out there, correct, sir?
That's right, yeah.
So plenty of back catalog if this is the first time they're getting to meet this guy on the phone, Riley Etheridge Jr. Riley, how are you, sir?
Well, I'm doing well. Thanks so much for having me on the show.
Most definitely. And I've been listening to the Spotify page for you for the last, I'd say probably 24 to 48 hours just to get ready. And I love all of it. But
thanks, man.
Before I start swooning over you, we have 2 icebreaker questions that I didn't warn you about. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Now I
think so.
I gave Riley the big old prep speech. I was like, well, here's how it's going to go. This is what we're going to talk about. These are the things that we're going to hit on. But I didn't mention a thing about the icebreaker. So here we go. Icebreaker.
That's true.
Icebreaker question number 1, sir. Where are you right now? And feel free to be as specific or non-specific as you would like to be.
I am in New York City, in my apartment, icing my aching shoulder from that I injured on my hiking trip to Canada with my son last week.
Wow.
Is that too specific?
No, that's fine. That's perfect. Actually, that would have ruined the second icebreaker question from last season, but I changed it because that happened a lot, actually. It used to be, what are you doing right now? Because everyone's able to multitask while they're on the phone. So icing your aching shoulder would have been your answer, and you would have you would have ruined it in the answer for question number 1. So I changed question number 2. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Question number 2 is, because I want to know how comfortable you are with the interview process, what are you wearing right now? And also, it kind of it gets that going too. It opens you up a little bit more.
Yeah, well, I'm happy to say I'm fully dressed in my favorite jeans and a ragged T-shirt.
I don't think I've done an interview where, at least they haven't told me that the other person is naked yet. So,
well, that's probably a good thing.
Yeah, I did have a guy who had just taken his shirt off because he was about to change into a different shirt to go to a dinner meeting that he had, but he was still wearing bottoms at least. So
yeah, that's a good start.
All right, enough of the goofiness. Now it's time to get to know Riley Etheridge Jr. Riley, you mentioned it. You're from New York City, and actually, you're from New York by way of Baton Rouge. And as I said, I was listening to the music, and I kind of hear some of that in there as well.
Yeah, no, I was there, I lived in South Louisiana for 20 years. I grew up in Columbia, South Carolina, and then went down to Louisiana to go to college and played a lot of music there, and ended up living in Baton Rouge for longer than I've lived anywhere else, 20 years. And such a cool musical environment and so many great different musical influences. I don't think anybody could make it out of there without having some mark left.
Yeah, and that's kind of a great thing because, well, each region of the country kind of lays claim to a different style of music. I mean, in Baton Rouge in the South has, the Zydeco Cajun kind of music to it. And I don't know if we're going to hear a squeeze box in anything anytime soon from you, but I think, it could be pretty good.
You never know. There was one song on the third record I had a squeeze box on They Still Dance. So more... But yeah, more of the New Orleans influence you'll hear on my stuff are going to be the rhythm sections and the horns. We recorded all the horns on the Straight and Narrow Way in New Orleans. We recorded most of the rhythm sections there, and that's where most of my musical collaborators still are. So it's the authentic thing, for better or worse.
Yeah, and you were mentioning the new album, The Straight and Narrow Way. That one, it kind of brought you cross-country, actually, in the recording process. You were in Nashville, you were in L.A., you were in New York, you were down south. You kind of hit the four corners of the country in recording that album.
We did, and it was a conscious choice. When we had the group of songs that we were ready to produce in this, Wendell Tilley and Shane Theriot, my 2 producers, and I, really sat down and thought about, almost like casting a movie, who would be the best rhythm sections to approach the songs that we wanted to hear it. And we got very fortunate that Jim Keltner, famous session drummer, rock and roll, legend, agreed to play on some of the tracks. So we started the record out in L.A. with the songs we thought that would be perfect for Keltner. And then once we had such a good experience with that, we took the same approach with a rhythm section in Nashville and then finally finishing up in New Orleans. And it really came out great because I think that you got, a cohesive sounding record, but in each case, the players were really playing songs that really suited their individual talents and styles. So I'm happy with the way it came out, and it was a really cool process to be a part of.
Now, I'm going to compare it to another love of my life, food, and it would be almost like if you were trying to get good Southern barbecue out of somebody in New York. I mean, it would probably be good, but it wouldn't be the same. Am I right?
That's exactly right. There's nothing like going to the source.
Yeah, and you got to find the people that can play and kind of have that vibe of what you're looking for in the tune. And I think you nailed it with this one. It's it may have taken a cross-continental trip, but I think it was worth it, definitely.
Yeah, I agree. Thanks for noticing that, and I give Wendell and Shane a lot of credit for that because they really helped me think through that and arrange the players, and it really, it's the first time we've ever had Keltner on a record, first time we ever had Greg Morrow and Michael Rhodes, the Nashville rhythm section on a record. So it was a real team effort.
Now, you talked about Wendell, and Wendell has been a longtime producer of yours, but Shane was new to this process, wasn't he? He was the new guy on the team.
Shane had played guitar on some of my earlier records, and we've done some live shows together, but it was actually Wendell's idea to bring him in a producer role on this. And it was a great new influence because, Shane has, he played with Dr. John, he's played with the Neville Brothers, he's currently in Hall & Oates of
oh, wow.
Obviously a well-known band.
Yeah.
And he brings a real rock and roll, authentic South Louisiana style to everything that he does. And he actually ended up co-writing 3 of the songs on the record with us, Roll Away the Stone and 2 others. And having that influence was, I think, a real creative spark for both of us.
Well, that's great. Do you think Shane's going to be a permanent part of the producing team now then, I would say?
I think so. Yeah. As permanent as anything is in our business, yes.
Because the new album's kind of a step away, I would say, maybe from what you had been doing with the previous album. So I think it's a fresh voice and a fresh set of ears on the project, right? Yeah,
it's exactly right. And we felt that way, and I know I think if you asked Wendell or I separately, we'd both say it's the most fun we've had making a record. And so I think we're going to stay with the approach. It seemed to work for us.
And that's the most important part, is because if you're not having fun, nobody else is going to be having fun,
right? That's exactly right.
All right. Well, now it's time to hear one of the ones that Shane had a hand in producing along with you and Wendell, and had a hand in writing as well. Tell us a little bit about Roll Away the Stone.
So Roll Away the Stone was actually the first song that we wrote on this record. The 3 of us were sitting on the floor in Wendell's studio, and Shane had this guitar riff, this kind of the intro riff, and we started thinking about, a concept for lyrics. And one of my favorite shows I used to do every year when I lived down in Louisiana was this festival in Morgan City called the Shrimp and Petrochemical Festival. And, I had this story of a friend of mine who went down to that festival and got in a little over his head with the partying, and had to, after extracting himself from the situation, come home and apologize to his better half for his behavior. And the song kind of took shape around Shane's guitar riff and that story about my friend's weekend gone bad.
You can never really say that it's a good time when you have to extract yourself. That was a good use of the word.
Thank you.
All right. Well, Riley Etheridge Jr. here on Off the Beaten Path podcast. So we're going to take a listen to Roll Away the Stone, and we'll come back and talk a little bit more, okay?
You got it.
Here it is. This is Roll Away the Stone. It's Riley Etheridge Jr. on Off the Beaten Path podcast with me, Ben Merritt.
Seemed innocent and pretty, the rosary she wore so well. 3 days in heaven of bourbon and leather, cigarettes and crawfish shell. When I get out alive, I gotta find my way home and beg your forgiveness and roll away the stone. Well, the trouble really started my brother's wedding party. She told me she would rock my world. But then we started drinking. I guess I wasn't thinking. She seemed like such a lovely girl. When I get out alive, I gotta find my way home and beg your forgiveness and roll away the stone. The trouble I stumbled into, the wreckage, the rubble that I was drugged through, stole my heart. Yeah, it's a miracle I survived. If I get out alive, I gotta find my way home and beg your forgiveness and roll away the stone. The motel door was open, the rental car was stolen, note left on the bathroom shelf. No use in saying sorry, she thanked me for the party and hoped that I'd enjoyed myself. When I get out alive, I'm gonna find my way home and beg your forgiveness and roll away the stone. When I get out alive, I gotta find my way home and beg your forgiveness and roll away the stone. And roll away the stone. And roll away the stone.
So there you have it, the first tune that we're going to hear from Mr. Riley Etheridge Jr. That was Roll Away the Stone. Riley, how are you, sir? How's the shoulder?
You know what? It's feeling a little better, actually. The ice and the Advil are kicking in. So thank you for asking.
All right, so what you're saying is we're on a shortened time here before you get all loopy and the Advil actually kicks in.
No narcotics are involved, I can promise.
Okay, good. We have a clear-headed Riley Etheridge Jr. on the phone. Excellent. So,
right.
All right. All right. Riley, again, the great thing about getting to meet new artists and talking to you guys is kind of diving headfirst right into the career. I mean, like I said, 48 hours of me diving into the Riley Etheridge experience has really taught me a lot about you, sir. But there are a lot of artists, a lot of fans out there that are just getting to hear about you right now. And a good way for them to catch up is to find you on social media and find your website. So go ahead, sir. This is the Pimp Yourself portion. You go ahead and do it.
Absolutely. Well, I'm happy to. So first, I've got my artist website, and it's easy to remember. It's just RileyEtheridge.com. And there we'll have links to Twitter and Instagram and the other social media sites that we use. And there's some videos there. I'm fairly active on my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Riley Etheridge Music. I really like that interface, and I'll periodically post some things there, some content that you won't see anywhere else, maybe some live videos and things like that. And then we just cataloged a new YouTube page as well. If you check me out on YouTube, and we did something interesting. Our last New York show, we literally taped the entire show, and 1 week at a time, we're putting up, live songs from that New York CD release show, as well as some of my more official music videos are up there. So between YouTube, RileyEtheridge.com, and the Riley Etheridge Music Facebook page, that's all the social media you could probably stand.
I don't know, sir. I think I can stand a lot of social media. I mean,
I'm glad to know you're listening to me on Spotify. We just, finished organizing, our Spotify artist page, and I'm glad you're using it.
Definitely. I find a lot of new artists on Spotify, and I always use it as a reference. By the way, this is not brought to you by Spotify, although if Spotify is listening, I would be.
There we go.
No, it's a great way because, it's a great way to catch up. Brand new artists out there usually have a back catalog. You, sir, are an example of that. And,
yeah.
Promoters and things like that send along 2 songs, and they're like, here are the songs that we want you to talk about. And I'm like, okay, but that doesn't give me the entire artist.
Right.
There's a vibe across the entire catalog, and I wanted to hear it all. So,
well, man, I appreciate you listening. That means a lot.
Well, there you go. And by the way, I'm scrolling through your Facebook page right now, and there's a lot of stuff up here. So definitely for all the fans out there that want to dive right in, that's a good place to start. So,
yeah.
All right. Well, a good place to start as well is, to start from the new stuff, because you've got the new album out. It just came out, and you worked with some really big names. Obviously, you mentioned Jim Keltner, and he worked with some of the best in the business. I mean, he's Elvis, Bob Dylan, Johnny.
Jim Keltner is probably the most recorded drummer in rock music history, and he was the drummer in the Traveling Wilburys. If you think about it, that's with Tom Petty and Bob Dylan,
mm-hmm.
and what a legendary band that was. And besides that being in that band, he's played with, like you said, everybody from George Harrison to the Beach Boys to Elvis. So it was a real. And I grew up as a drummer before I really got into the singer-songwriter thing. So for me to have Keltner on the record was a dream come true. Yeah,
you're kind of just sitting there at the door to the studio every day, and you're just going like, that guy's working on my album now. How did that happen?
That's exactly right. We had to we all had to pinch ourselves several times.
Do you think Jim pinched himself too, or?
I don't think so. I think he was happy to be done and go back home for dinner. But he was into it, and he did a great job.
Well, good. Yeah, you can tell. I mean, and like I said, you worked with some other of the big names out there too. Johnny Neal and Dan Dugmore and all that. I mean, there's some big names musically on here, but you've also got a couple of guest tracks from a big name in the folk music industry as well, Sarah Watkins from Nickel Creek.
Yeah, well, that was such a wonderful treat for me. I don't know if you've ever had an artist on the show that's played the Cayamo Music Cruise.
Mm-mm.
It's a cruise that leaves from Miami every year, and I think they're in the 6th or 7th year. And it's a Americana music festival, typically 40 or 50 artists at sea for a week. And if you're a music lover, it's an unbelievable way to hear a lot of bands at once. And I got to do that 2 years ago, and Sarah Watkins and her brother Sean were both on it as artists.
Wow.
And I got to meet them briefly there and do a couple collaborations together. And when I knew I wanted a female, duet on both these songs, The Maze and Another Time, Another Place on this record, she was really my first choice. And so, my label reached out to her management, and they were immediately, liked the songs and wanted to do it. And so the only condition is we had to go back to California, to San Diego, where Sarah was at that point, to record the tracks there, which, again, we were happy to do. And she just absolutely sang and played beautifully, and they're, really memorable contributions.
Did you get her to play fiddle on any of the tracks as well?
She's playing fiddle and and singing background vocals on both The Maze and Another Time, Another Place. Yeah, I figured if I had her, I was going to get both.
Yeah, not going to just use you for vocals. Sorry, Sarah, you got to bring the...
Absolutely not. We put her to work.
There you go. But, I mean, it's just an amazing thing, too, because with Nickel Creek just recently getting back together, and you said during the recording process, you had no idea that was going to happen either.
No, I didn't, because that was, we recorded Sarah's parts, I want to say, July, August of last year. So it's been about a year ago now, and it was still, another good 5 or 6 months before they announced the reunion. Yeah,
I think if you had known, you probably would have been like, "Hey, Sarah, you want to do like 3-4 more tracks?" I mean, just kind of.
If I'd have known, I might not have asked her. I would have thought she'd been too busy.
Oh no! If she agreed, I'm sure she's a nice girl like that. I think she would have followed through with the commitment no matter what.
Oh no question. She couldn't have been better to work with. And like I said, it's sometimes when you ask somebody to collaborate, you have an idea of what they're going to do, or you have a hope for what the part is going to be, and specifically the part she sang on Another Time, Another Place was so different from what I had heard in my head, and so much more creative, so much more beautiful that, when I heard her sing through it the first time, I was just floored. And I think it really helped make the song something distinctive.
All right. Well, we've been talking about her. We've been talking about you. We've been talking about the song. Now let's think it's time to take a listen to it. Do you want to tell us anything about Another Time, Another Place before we dive right into it?
Yeah, I mean, Another Time, Another Place, Wendell Tilley and I actually wrote this song together, and Wendell had the idea for the changes and the melody, and it set such a mood that it was one of those songs where the lyrical content almost, came immediately just from the mood that the song sets. And it's a song about, two people who really care for each other but realize that maybe this is not the right time for them, and coming to peace with that fact, but doing so in a respectful way. It's a song that's I think has connected with a lot of people lyrically, and again, I think Sarah's performance really captures the mood.
All right. Well, again, sir, it's a lot of great music that you can find on any of your back catalog, Spotify or the website. And, sir, I appreciate it. Riley Etheridge Jr., thank you very much for stopping by the show.
Thanks for having me.
Here we go. Here's Riley Etheridge Jr. featuring Sarah Watkins. This is Another Time, Another Place on Off the Beaten Path podcast with me, Ben Merritt.
We offer what we have, what we make. Face the risk, opt for comfort. Regret the chance we didn't take. But every now and then I feel we're close enough that I can say, sometimes I feel that we should go our separate ways. Love another time, another place. Who we are, still evolving. What we want to be defined. The answer to the riddle solving is the path we leave behind. Every now and then I feel we're close enough that I can say, sometimes I feel that we should go our separate ways. Love another time, another place. Is this all there is? All that there can be? So hard to know what feelings to believe. So we cling to what we we're close enough that I can say. Sometimes I fear that we should go our separate ways. Love another time. Love another time. Love another time, another place. Another time, another place. Oh.
It's Off the Beaten Path Podcast with me, Ben Merritt. Find us on Twitter at OTBP Podcast.
Look through the lens to the stage I've set, find 16 billion eyes that all light up. But somehow they don't seem to fill the darkness. I hear the cries through my sleepless nights. This is life, I've made a sign of what's to come. Not smart enough to know the implications. Do they know their flaws? Are they good enough to stay? Is this freak accident the intention I couldn't name? God, should I show him off? Let the media attack and scream my name. Be another rotting corpse for all the vultures. Is that a selfish thought? Do I give a fuck? Would a find like this really mean a single thing? Not if they can't moderate the progress. Could they learn to grow? Find a better way to live? Start a war and sacrifice the innocent. And I know you would do the same. You'd hide them off and walk away. And I hope I can live with it.
Off the Beaten Path Podcast with me, Ben Merritt. There's Jonathan Stewart from the Droning album. This young man is from Harrisonburg, Virginia. The name of that song was Freak Accident. I apologize for the curse words that's in there, but hey, happens. It's the internet. You downloaded it. You appreciate it. So there you go. Jonathan Stewart, no, not of The Daily Show, but again, he's got great music out there, and his website is jonathanstewart.bandcamp.com. He's got a couple albums available for you as well. There's 3 or 4 of them there. Make sure you check him out, and he's doing big things, so hopefully we hear more from him. But there you go. Ben Merritt, again, hanging out with you here on Off the Beaten Path Podcast. Again, thanks for being here and joining me. Get in touch, stay in touch, and stay informed by going to our website, otbppodcast.com. Again, lots of cool stuff always going up and on over there. You can get to all your favorite artists' episodes. You can also get to their webpage from ours. It's real easy. It's real fun. And I put all my descriptions up there, too, so you know exactly what I was thinking about about this episode. Thanks to Riley Etheridge Jr. for stopping by and chatting. Now, you know these guys as Kevin, Corey, Critter, Chance, Ketch, Gil, and Morgan. I know them as platinum-selling Grand Ole Opry members who somehow months ago I was able to chat with one of them, speaking about Critter. This is Old Crow Medicine Show, and again, platinum-selling. Wagon Wheel has sold over 1 million copies, and that is certified. And they are Grand Ole Opry members. They've had kind of a standing gig at the Grand Ole Opry whenever they're in town, and whenever they're able to, they can go in and just play. But how do I get the opportunity to talk to people like this? I don't even, my head hurts. I'm going to take a nap. Here you go. Check out this one. It's brand new. It's off the new album from Old Crow Medicine Show. The new album is called Remedy, and this is the very first song you're going to hear on that album if you listen to it all the way through. This is Brushy Mountain Conjugal Trailer. Yep, curse words to conjugal visits. And we're keeping it classy here on Off the Beaten Path podcast with me, Ben Merritt.
Yeah, go ahead, Travis.
To a holler, looky here, honey. If you don't keep quiet, we're bound to start another Brushy Mountain prison riot. Come on, we're unshackled tonight. I got a little time off for good behavior, so let's rock it in the Brushy Mountain Conjugal Trailer. Brushy Mountain Conjugal Trailer. Give me a slide-out, double wide, Class A trailer. Wrap it up and razor wire, take it to the jailer. Hurry up, honey, 'cause they hang me at dawn. I wanna dive a little before I put my jumpsuit on. The trailer, it's old Mr. Hangman looking for a favor. Hey buddy with the lady, if you do some introducing, I'll call up the governor for stale execution. Come on, we'll liberate you tonight. If you allow the pretty lady to stay a little later, and let me in your Brushy Mountain Conjugal Trailer.
is Off the Beaten Path Podcast with me, Ben Merritt.
Are you behind the shining star? Am I as hopeless as you are? Well, I'm sleepless in my better nights. You promised that you wouldn't fight. Stay where we are. Busted parade, stop the band. You know I'm not that kind of man, but you were better when you couldn't lie. Apparently we're out of time. I've had all I can stand. I can't hold on. I'm falling. Yeah, I'm falling down. Are you behind the blinding light? Strung out and stranded every night. There were places that I couldn't find, and pieces that were out of line. Just tell me I'm alright. I can't hold on. I'm falling. Yeah, I'm falling. I can't hold on. I'm falling. Yeah, I'm
Off the Beaten Path Podcast with me, Ben Merritt. That is the latest from Trampled by Turtles. That's off the Wild Animals album, Are You Behind the Shining Star? Oh, man, I love those guys. TBT here in northern Wisconsin. They're from Duluth, Minnesota, Duluth, Minneapolis, that area. And they couldn't be any more popular than they are here in the Midwest. If you haven't heard of them, go check out everything that they've ever done, period, just in general, because Trampled by Turtles is so good. The Wild Animals album is their most recent one. They had a live album just before that. Stars and Satellites was the one that really put them on the map. Palomino before that, Duluth, Trouble, Blue Sky and the Devil, Songs from a Ghost Town. The list just goes on and on and on and on. TBT, Trampled by Turtles, they're on my short list of, oh my God, I think my head would explode if I got to actually interview them. So, and actually earlier on in September, they actually did an NPR Tiny Desk concert. I just watched it, and holy cow, I'm a big fan. So, I'm a big fan of the Tiny Desk concerts as well, too. Off of Country, Macklemore probably did my favorite of the Tiny Desk concerts. Ben Merritt wrapping it up here on Off the Beaten Path Podcast. Again, thank you very much for being here. Thank you to Riley Etheridge Jr. for stopping by and chatting with us. That was a lot of fun. I had a great time with that one. So, Riley Etheridge Jr., again, make sure that you check out all of his music, too. Next week, join us for Clayton Anderson. Clayton Anderson going to be a special guest here on Off the Beaten Path Podcast. This guy's a big up-and-comer. He's a big independent artist. He's doing lots of really great stuff. So, make sure you check out Clayton Anderson anywhere. And here next week, it's Off the Beaten Path Podcast with me, Ben Merritt. Again, check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, email, website, You can find it all with OTBP Podcast. It's all really easy. So that's going to do it for me. Have yourself a great one. Bye.